But if they would fix it, that'd be great.
Hello, as you can see, I'm back in my room and haven't really talked about the rest of the orientation week, so here I am telling Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I believe, about what we've done. So if you see this outfit and this background for the next 3 videos, you'll know why. Currently it's Sunday. Today we are hoping to go to Tesco, and we're also going to be visiting a couple other shops if we have time, and possibly the market. So I'll let you know how that goes eventually. If you are interested in any other type of content, let me know. I don't really know how I'm going to work it out after, especially when school starts, but if you have anything like Canada versus Hungary, or if you want to see any other nationalities that are around here and just see those discussions, let me know in the comments or message me. You all know me. And yeah, so let's start with Wednesday. Wednesday morning was a very early start for us. We had to get to school at 6:30 to be able to leave, as we were going to the most extreme part of Hungary. We were going to northwestern Hungary, close to the Austrian border. So we were going first to an abbey, and then we went to Sopron, which is not even 20 kilometers away from the border. But first, the abbey. So the abbey was in Panorama, I believe. And this abbey is still functional. There are still priests, I believe that's what they call them, and it is from the Benedict order. And the abbey still functions as a monastery, but as well as a boarding school for boys, and is actually very prestigious. It's very prestigious to go to this school. So before going to the monastery itself, we watched a quick video, and then we had to do a quick hike up the mountain in the forest. So here's some footage. The abbey itself, when we came into it, really reminded me of Melk. Those who have ever gone to the surrounding area of Vienna, which actually Melk would be fairly close to Panorama, actually. So here's a picture. And the place is really beautiful, and like any other monastery or church in Europe, it is breathtaking. Once we got into the monastery, we got to go into the chapel, though I guess it was more of a church. So we got to sing into the chapel, and we got to visit the rest of the abbey with our Hungarian tour guide who could speak English.
Just in case. So the scepter, the apple, and some other crown. On the wall, till the others are coming, you see several historic images of Pannonhalma and nearby areas.
And on the right one, there's a special view because if you come here, you only see one hill, but there are three hills next to each other. And on the right one, this is the abbey itself. In the middle, now we can see the Millennial Monument, and on the left one, this is the Blessed Virgin Chapel, and under the Blessed Virgin Chapel there is a crypt, and every Benedictine monks and the archbishops living over it. Was built in the 19th century, and first the long hall was built in 1823, and 10 years later they built up this over part, and this is the only place in the abbey which is in the library. Everything is original, so nothing changed in the last 200 years. The floor is original ones, and the shelves are made of cherry wood, that's why the color is really nice, and it's still a working library, so it's a public one. We still collect the books. The oldest books and the first books were related to the religion, But then they had the new task, the teaching. So from the beginning of the 19th century, they started to collect books about history, nature, law, so everything. And then they had to build up this library. And when they built up the library, it was very hard how they can light up these two halls because they couldn't use fire. So they put some mirrors under the windows, and there are some other mirrors just above the entrance, and they collected the light of the sun with the mirrors. And there is a number on the top, and there are some letters, so that's how they can find the books. And altogether, we still collect the books. In every year, we have 2,000 or 2,500 new books. But altogether now we have about 400,000 books in this library. But in these two halls, we cannot see all of them.
And after the visit, we ate in the monks' restaurant. So of course these monks have to make a living because even though they make a vow of poverty, they still have to continue education and they still have to keep up to be able to renovate when needed and just to keep everything functioning. So we went to the restaurant, which very posh, very French, and they used their local ingredients. They're very known for their herbs and spices, and they also grow lilacs during the summer. So we had freshly grown lilac on our dessert, which was a millefeuille, which Emisha couldn't pronounce, but it's French. So after the monastery, we made our way to Fertörd, to the Esterhazy castle. So the Esterhazy castle, we went to one of their summer castles, and on our way over there, Emisha explained that the Esterhazy family was one of the richest family of the time in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. One of the main figures, I think his name is Nikolaus, used to be a general for one of the emperors. Editing April put the scrolly thing explaining all of this. But anyways, one of the generals was named Prince as a present of his loyalty to whatever emperor, Editing April said. So, of course, what do you do when you're rich? You don't save it, you spend it. So we got to go see a couple of the rooms and also the ones that were currently being renovated, as most of the castles that are left in Hungary were taken over by their Soviet friends and reutilized for storage or hospitals or retirement homes. So they are trying to bring them back to their former glory. However, they're still excavating and figuring out how those rooms looked like. So I think I have some footage of that, but here is some of the highlights of the Esterhazy castle.
in its eastern wing there were kitchens and storage rooms and the palm house, a winter garden. On the other side there were there was a library and there was rooms filled with porcelains and a gallery. The two storied parts on either sides were the home of the apartments of the guests and the rooms for the servants. We've already seen two big representative halls in the middle, and now we are going to see the two on the ground floor. And on either sides of the big halls there were the most important apartments for the prince, the princess, so they could avoid family quarrel because they lived separately. And,
Arranged marriages.
yeah, and on the first floor there were the apartments of the royal guests.
After the Esterhazy castle, we watched a puppet show, but not really. It was 3D. I don't have any footage of it, but you can imagine this was made in the 90s, so it was very interesting. And after the Esterhazy castle, we made our way to Sopron to go to our room, and that is the footage of Tuesday, the speaking part. That is where I was. So I'll give you a quick tour of the hotel room, and then in the next video I'll talk about what we did on Thursday in Sopron. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Want to make some movement? It's going in the video, whatever you do.
Greece, mid-70s, the feeling of the rooms. But the bathroom.
Okay.
Throughout the centuries.
Come pari deve sposo,
On your pants, like, you survived.
forse il pomo alla più bella mia diventa milanese.